All right, so this is Engineering 211. I'm David Kidd. My office is just right behind us here in IA 208. Okay, there's my email and office hours. Anytime I could help you, if you got questions, I'm happy to answer any questions that might come up. This is the wrong room. We're currently in IA 207, and Monday 3 to 5, Wednesday 3 to 5, and Friday 3 to 4. First half hour or so, usually we cover homework, though, we'll just be flexible with that, and we'll use the time to do both things, to cover new stuff and to cover homework. But when we cover homework, we usually do it in the first half hour of the class. All right, so what you're going to learn how to do in here is to analyze three-dimensional force and moment systems, find resultant forces and moments, and find force and moment reactions. Analyze trusses, frames, and machines, and analyze centroids and moments of inertia. If we have time, we'll get into shear moment and beams. So that's what we're up to in here. Okay. Now, this syllabus is online in Moodle, in our course management system. So it's available there if you'd like to have your own copy. All right, so what we want to do here is to demonstrate the ability to solve theoretical and applied problems in the areas listed above in a legible, organized fashion. That's kind of what engineers do. We lay our work out in a very organized way. I'd also like you to kind of start to think about how you're going to succeed in college. I'm sure you already thought about that a bit if you're in this class, but I'll mention a few things here and there that might, be on that topic too. All right, to be in this class, you should have had integral calculus, because we do some integration here just a bit. All right, now the book for this class is actually a set of notes. It's called the Statics Notes. So that's what we use. All right. Does anyone have a copy of that? It's got a picture of, looks like this. Okay, so that's the book. Okay, I don't use a standard textbook. Okay, this is the book. It has homework in it, plus it has notes that you fill out when you come to class. So when you come to class, you want to have a copy of this. It's maybe $15 or $20 at the bookstore, I think. So you definitely want to have a copy of that. It has the homework in it. It has all the notes that we cover in class. So it's a self-contained packet, basically. All right. Now, that is the advantage of that is it's got everything. It kind of covers what we cover in the sequence that we cover it in. Okay, so that's just a walk through the class right there. You want to bring that with you. It has the notes that we will cover in class. It also has the homework. Okay, the disadvantage of that is it's not a thorough coverage of this material, and this is very important material for the rest of your school career and when you start working. So I would suggest that you get a book as well. Now, the thing about statics, though, is statics was figured out 100 years ago and hasn't really changed in that time. So you could get any copy of any book. I would just suggest having some sort of statics book, but it doesn't have to be the latest edition of any book. It doesn't have to be any particular book. Any used book you can find is fine, okay? I would have a copy of a statics book, though, for this class and for the things you do beyond. All right? I like the one by Hibbler, but any book would be fine. The one by Hibbler, to me, is the easiest one to read, but any one that you like is fine, okay? But any edition is fine. All right. Now, if let's say you don't have a copy of that with you, you probably want one today. So I brought some copies of the first pages of the book, of the packet, I guess I should say, that you could use today. So we'll get those out in just a minute. If you're an online student, here's the Moodle page, which is our course management system. What I have here is announcements at the top. I've got a place where the homework assignments will be listed. Be everything below that line, basically. There aren't any assignments that have been made yet, of course. I'll also have links here for the online students to upload their homework. So those will come later as I give you assignments. Here's the syllabus that we're looking at. We have a formula sheet here and some other things. Now, the one thing that I have is a copy of some of the notes. The first pages of the notes are right there. You could download those if you're online and you don't have a copy of them yet. There's also the homework problems as well. Okay, so there's homework downloads as well. There's some of the homework downloads. HW means homework. What I also will have here is some downloads that you can use for test reviews and things. And then I also have the live sessions. I'll paste the links here in Moodle for you to follow on. Okay. So that's the materials that you'll want to be using for the course. Okay, the grading system is shown here. The exams are 85% and the homework is 15%. I use two systems. I either count the two midterms and the final equally, or I count the two midterms a bit less than the final. I use both systems and run through that. Now what I do then is I have my spreadsheet. I'll run both of these grades. I'll drop the lowest weekly homework too, and then I'll compare the two grades and I'll take the highest. And I just use a straight percentage to get that figured up for your letter grade. Now the thing on this is that Moodle doesn't have an advanced enough grading system to do this. I use Excel for this with the logic and all that I have to use to do this. So your score in Moodle really doesn't mean anything. There's an auto-generated score that you get from Moodle, but it really doesn't, it's not relevant, okay? This is really the system that I use. So when you look at your auto-generated course total in Moodle, which is our course management system, it really doesn't, it's not accurate, okay? So keep that in mind. If you are interested in kind of tracking where your grade is, what I have is a spreadsheet here, the grade calculator that you can download. And that looks something like that, where you enter your scores on the top, and then it'll calculate with using both methods what your score is for the class at any time, okay? So you don't really use the Moodle course total that it generates. It doesn't really, it's not meaningful, okay? So any questions on that stuff? Okay. All right. Okay, so we cover the questions on homework during the first half hour of the class. I drop the lowest weekly homework score. I don't take late homework, so keep that in mind. If something comes up, you can contact me before and request an extension if something's come up. Okay. All right, I keep graded homework papers up to about a week and then I dispose of them, so keep that in mind. If you want to be picking up your homework, be sure to do that in a timely manner. Okay, this course prepares you for a professional work environment, so I expect you to act in a professional manner, attend class regularly, participate in class activities. If something's coming up where you're going to be out of class for any length of time, just let me know that you won't be here and we can work through that. So just communicate with me is kind of important about any issues like that. And if you communicate with me, we can figure things out, okay? It's not a problem. All right. Here's the schedule that we'll work through. We'll just work through the notes. We'll just kind of keep going as we go, just one topic to the next. The exams, midterm 1 will be late week 4 or early week 5. Midterm 2 will be late week 8 or early week 9. I'll give you at least a week's notice for midterms so you'll know they're coming up. I don't have an exact date scheduled for them on the syllabus. When we're a little bit ways out, we'll come up with a time to have the midterm. Okay, that's how that works. If you're an online student, if you can come to the midterm here, which will be at 3 o'clock, Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, that would be great. If you can't, we'll work something out and arrange a testing time for online students too. Okay. The final exam, that's incorrect there. It's the blue time, which is hard to see. I believe it's Monday from 3 to 5. This time is not correct for the final. It's right here. Okay, and I know that might be hard to see being such a light color, but that's Monday from 3 to 5 is when the final is scheduled for right now. Yes, question?
The 17th is a Tuesday, so do you mean the 16th or do you mean Tuesday the 17th?
We better kind of follow through on that. Let's kind of run that down because it looks like I forgot to change that or something. So let's get that clarified here. Yeah, so the final will be Monday the 16th from 3 to 5 is when it will be. There you go. So there's the final. All right, here's a list of what employers expect, which are a pretty good list for students too. So that's on the syllabus. The syllabus, again, is available in Moodle. Okay. All right, so just some other topics on the back of the syllabus. First one's academic honesty. Yeah, I'd like you to work together on your homework, but to receive credit, you need to do your own work. So any cheating on homework or tests will result in a 0 being assigned for the grade. Aiding other students who cheat is also considered to be cheating as well. So please just be sure that you're doing your own work okay? And that's really how you learn, and certainly you need to do your own work on exams as well. So be aware of that. Any students who need accommodation, just check in with me and we can work through that. That's not a problem, so just let me know and we'll make accommodations on that. Okay, LBCC prohibits unlawful discrimination based on a very long list of categories there. I think what that means is we just treat people respectfully and decently. They're different than us and that's all fine, but we treat them respectfully here, okay? So that's important. There's a list of students and rights and responsibilities on this website. If you feel that your rights are being violated, you can speak to Dr. Lynn Cox if it's a student who might be doing that, or Scott Rowland if it is a staff member who might be doing that, okay? The last thing is the Roadrunner Resource Center. That can help you with any sort of barriers that come up that are keeping you from attending school. So this is a real good resource to know about. They can help you with problems with childcare, food, emergency housing, healthcare, et cetera, okay? So they're just a group there that's trying to help people stay in school. And if something comes up for you that's causing some real problems, they can be a very helpful resource. They can help with a number of issues. So be aware of that, okay? All right, homework format, I'd like that to come in a certain way, so let's have a look at that. All right, this is available in Moodle, so what I'd like to see here in homework is across the top, name, date, homework number, page of pages, then a problem statement where you can paraphrase the problem in your own words, a sketch, work through the solution, and then box in your answers. So here's an example. We've got the name on the top, the date, problem number, and page number of pages. Okay, then there's a simple problem statement, a sketch done with a straight edge, working through the problem solution, and then the answers boxed in. That's what I'm looking for here. When you start working, there's going to be an expectation that you're doing your work in a systematic sort of way in a format like this. So I think you want to start working on that as soon as you can. All right. This is very helpful in a number of ways. One is that it's a professional way to do work. When you start working, if you work for a consultant, you're going to get billed out to your clients for something on the order of $100 an hour, and they have expectations for that. Okay, so this is the sort of way you do work. What this also does is it cuts down on errors, which again in the working world is very important, and it also creates a document that someone, let's say a year from now, can look at and figure out what you were doing. Okay, so this is the format that we want to use to do work. It might take you some time to get really good at this, but you have some time in school to work at it. I would encourage you to get competent at this before you go to work. Okay, it's a very useful thing to do. All right, so this is the standard format. I've also handed out the formula sheet, and that looks something like that. So we got any questions here so far on the format or anything? On the homework format? Okay. So the formula sheet is what I'll give you for a test. So you'll have that available to you on a test, okay? That's what you'll have. That's that blue sheet that I handed out here in class. It's also available in Moodle. Okay, let's have a look at a couple things here to kind of advice about succeeding at statics. First thing is a question that was asked of an Oregon State University student in the barometer quite a few years ago. What have you learned this year at Oregon State University? And the response was, showing up for class is pretty important. So I think that's good advice. So that's a good start on passing a class, is attending, okay? So keep that one in mind. Okay, here's an article from the Oregonian. This one got around a lot. This was quite a few years ago, 20 years ago. They launched a rover that was going to go to Mars. And this rover was supposed to orbit Mars, but instead of orbiting Mars, it smashed into Mars and basically exploded into a bunch of little pieces. And it didn't work anymore. Okay, so what the deal was, I think, was the design people, they used metric units, and they sent the calculations over to the operations people who thought it was in English units. And that didn't work out too well, so they basically blew up a $125 million project because of a simple neglect on marking the units down properly, okay? So just good advice here, okay? That's $125 million that just kind of got thrown out the window just because people weren't really tracking their work and putting their units in the work. So units are a good thing to carry through. Okay, here's Team Beach movie. My daughter liked that quite a bit. I watched it probably 50 times with her. She knew all the words to all the songs, you know, all that kind of thing. What we have here are the leads, and they're on the surfboard. The smart, thoughtful one is on the right, and her name is Mac. And the impulsive one is on the left, and his name is Brady. And at one point, Mac says to Brady, I can explain it to you, but I can't understand it for you, okay? I just kind of like that phrase, because that's my job, right? And this is your job, okay? You with me? Now, me explaining it is not the same as you understanding it, okay? Those are different things. It's on me to explain it, and I work pretty hard at that, but it's on you to understand it, okay? So keep that in mind. Keep in mind that you're paying $400 to be here. Get the value out of it, okay? That matters, okay? All right? So if you want to be a successful engineer, you need to start to act like one here in school. Okay, and what does that mean? It means you come to class, okay? But not only just sit there, but you engage in the class, okay? If you don't know what's going on, man, you ask me, okay? That's why I'm here. That's why you're paying me $400, right? I mean, that's the deal, right? that's the value you get out of me, okay? Okay, do your homework yourself so that you know how to work through it. That's how you learn, is you do things yourself. Okay, okay. If you don't know, ask. You can ask me. You know, there's other people around here you can ask too. You know, you get tutoring help if you need it. But those are the things that you do to succeed. Find a good study group you can work in. People that are responsible and hold up their end and do the work. Okay, that's another good way to learn. All right. So just some suggestions on succeeding here and in other classes too. All right. So we got any questions on that so far? We doing all right? All right. But who knows? All right, so that's just a little bit of an introduction to the class. We got any questions on that so far? And like I said, I'm going to start looking around for a new room. This is pretty tight here, so we'll try and figure something out on that. Let's see.